The holy city of Wei-Jin is home to the magical Wu-Xing Compass, a device created by the Dragon Emperor himself to control and direct the winds of magic throughout the lands of Grand Cathay. It was initially designed to project power, to aid in the defense of the Great Bastion when it is under threat. It now allows the Emperor's progeny to direct it to one of 4 points, each aiding the Empire in its own way. When the compass has been directed to one of these points, the magic in that area will build up over time, with the power of the active bonuses increasing. And when the compass changes its orientation to point to a different location, the winds of magic will dissipate at the previous location, and the bonuses that were provided will begin to wane. As well as these active bonuses for each of the 4 points, several of them also have passive bonuses that are available regardless of the direction the compass is pointing in. When pointing toward the Great Bastion, the active buff decreases the recruitment cost of units and provides a unique army ability to call down meteors on your enemies. The passive buff for the Great Bastion provides extra supplies for armies during defensive sieges and additional casualty replenishment. Both could be quite handy when under continuous attack by the forces of chaos. If the compass is pointing toward the Celestial Lake, then you receive additional income and stronger winds of magic growth in all regions of Cathay. The passive will give a straight up buff to growth of all Grand Cathay factions, even those you might be in conflict with if relations have taken a turn for the worse. Should you decide to point the compass towards the Warpstone Desert in the west of Cathay, you will see enemy armies within the nation of Cathay suffer from leadership penalties. Winds of magic will be lowered, and all corruption will be lowered across your lands. This last part will be very handy, considering we have additional corruption to worry about, with each Chaos God having their own version. The passive buff for the Warpstone Desert, strangely, doesn't exist, because reasons, or due to the massive warpstone deposits messing with the compass. Take your pick. I personally would keep a passive for the Warpstone Desert, but have the effects fluctuate and change randomly to represent the chaotic effects of the warpstone on the compass. Finally, there is the Dragon Emperor's Wrath, which causes massive attrition to all chaos forces besieging the Great Bastion. Whether this is armies in the regions of the Bastion, or actually in the act of laying siege, is yet to be determined. The passive buff provides additional control for all of Grand Cathay's factions. I'm curious to see what the Dragon Emperor's Wrath is. Could it be some deep scar on the lands of Grand Cathay, perhaps in the south? I guess we will have to wait and see, though if you have any ideas, please post them in the comments section. As mechanics go, this one seems okay. I like that there is an element of balancing when to point the compass in any one direction, and I like that there are both active and passive buffs, with the active ones dissipating over time when the compass is directed elsewhere. I just think some of the buffs are a little underwhelming. The Great Bastion direction grants the ability to drop meteors on enemies, which is cool, and the Dragon Emperor's Wrath can inflict massive attrition on Chaos armies. In comparison, the others seem a little dull. What do you think of the Wu-Xing Compass mechanic? Would you give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down? This video was brought to you with the help of my patrons. A big thanks to Hot Apple Pie, Alexander, and Solarith Magnetar. I'm Grey Tiger, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.